This discussion contains spoilers for Avengers Infinity War. If you have not seen the movie, do not watch this video. Seriously, we're not going to hold back on spoilers. Do not watch it if you have not seen the movie. Not kidding. All right. With all that out of the way, we decided, we're grabbing some lunch. Joe and I, say hi, Joe.
Hello, everyone.
And we decided we're going to talk about Infinity War while we're on our way to grab some lunch. So
I've actually already seen the movie twice. I saw it opening weekend, and then I just watched it again this past Friday, so the second week, with some friends, because it's that good.
I've only seen it once, but I completely agree. It is crazy good. I might see it again at some point, but
yeah.
Okay, so let's start from the more general aspects. The movie doesn't introduce any of the characters except maybe Thanos.
Yeah, we get a little bit more background from him because in the past movies we've seen him in small snippets, but not really knowing his background or his character for what it's worth. And like you kind of talk to him a little bit during Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. Right, in the first Avengers movie.
But, and that's the thing, like, first Avengers movie, he didn't talk at all.
Yeah, he was just a guy in a chair.
And he appeared on the after credit scene. I don't count after credit scenes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I count solely as a part of the movie.
Right.
Like, it was good to kind of, get an understanding, like, right out of the gate. He's already killed off half of the Asgardians. I knew it started with an A.
Right.
And I think it was really good to kind of introduce the fact of how strong Thanos was by immediately having him fight with the Hulk.
Right, a fight with the Hulk and Thor's already on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The two most powerful superheroes in the Marvel Universe are like, one's already down, the other one gets his butt kicked in front of everybody.
Very easily.
So...
Yep, and right off the bat, not only that, we see two significant deaths occur between Loki and Heimdall.
Yeah. Heimdall, you can kind of like, okay, you can get that. Loki, though, I think was pretty big.
Yeah, that was a huge shocker because he's been such a significant character in this whole universe.
Right.
He just gets offed right off the bat.
Yeah, he's been in every Thor movie, and he was the main villain in the first Avengers movie.
Right.
It was, just as a show of, no, seriously, all the people you like, they're about to die.
Right. And this dude is way more powerful than everyone else.
Right. Okay, so right off the bat, we understand how powerful Thanos is.
Yep.
And we also get a general idea of how powerful his minions are as well.
Right.
But, so, let's see. Where do we want to start with all this?
I mean, there's so much we could say.
Okay, let's actually start into the philosophy of Thanos.
Yeah, that was very intriguing. You get the complete picture now of the why behind what he's doing. And I will say, honestly, I can see his thought process behind it. I don't agree with it, but you get more of a, not want to say empathy, but kind of an understanding of where he came from and what he's doing and why.
So one of the things, I've taken a sci-fi utopian dystopian class.
Yeah.
And, and when you're talking about a lot of these utopian societies, a lot of times you talk about, like, euthanasia and how the necessity for population control in order to ensure that resources are not completely wiped out.
Yeah.
And we've had discussions, and I started thinking about the discussion in my head of, is Thanos wrong? And, we would disagree with the idea that wiping out half of the universe's population, just specific worlds or countries or anything like that, the entire universe's population would be, absurd,
right.
and you never would do such a thing. But his philosophy isn't wrong. Like, the idea that, and to a point, or I read an article about this, there are people right now on Earth, actual reality, like not in fictional universes,
Right.
that think that we need to have population control because we as a society, we have so much, poverty, and we're fighting over so many resources and things like
Famine and hunger.
that
Yeah.
is exacerbated by overpopulation. And eventually we will get to the point where our overpopulation will cause everything to get worse. And that is, I think, like there, and so, it gets into, the idea of euthanasia and all those kinds of things. And you, like, the simple idea of killing everybody, of killing anybody for this kind of thing, seems despicable. But in the same instance, if you have to choose between a long, drawn-out death of humanity, a long, drawn-out, painful death of humanity, versus, quote-unquote, surgically removing the cancer, I mean, I'm not going to call half the population a cancer, but like removing the disease, to ensure the longevity of humanity. What do you choose? Like, do you choose cutting off the problem, or do you choose to, just let it roll and see what happens?
Mm-hmm.
And Thanos talked about how in his society they tried to let it roll and it did not work.
Right.
So,
And so then once he took care of things on his world in particular, there was quote-unquote balance brought about.
Right.
And people were able to flourish, there was enough food, and all that jazz.
That's the thing. Is like he tried to do that with his world and they didn't do it, and so his society was wiped out.
Alright, so one thing I want to say that kind of threw off my thought process there was, I know there's that one scene where Thanos is talking to Gamora about the utopia with enough mouths to be able to feed people and all that jazz, but I guess that was more of describing an ideal. I know that ultimately Titan did get destroyed because obviously we saw it with
him talking with Strange.
Well, him talking with Strange, but he also was talking to Gamora about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we saw the desolate wasteland that was Titan when the Avengers arrived on it.
Right.
But yeah, his whole ideology is just, you can see the why behind it, and he's not just an outright villain that just wants to destroy the universe. He has an actual, depth to his character, which I was not expecting.
Which I think makes Thanos more dangerous, in that he's not doing this out of just willful destruction.
Right.
He's doing it because he believes what he's doing is right.
He legit believes it, yeah.
And which it makes it worse because you don't break that. You cannot break that kind of ideology.
You convince him otherwise his ideology is wrong.
Which he has had this ideology for who knows how long.
Right.
So, yeah. At least for the past couple of decades,
Right. At least for as long as the Marvel movies have been happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just to bring the big guy out that was the guy behind a lot of what happened in Marvel so far was crazy. And to see Tony Stark, in particular, come face to face with him is like, you were haunting me the past 6 years, it all comes to a head with what happened in New York in the first Avengers, and he's putting all the pieces together. You see the whole dynamic of Tony, for example, it's isolated on him, how he had the PTSD in Iron Man 3 from what happened in the first Avengers movie, and now he's finally facing the guy that is the source of all of it.
Yep.
It just brought it to just an epic head with this movie.
Yep. Yeah, and you can tell he's super stressed out when he's arguing with Strange on the ship.
Right.
He even says, it's this guy has been in my head for the past 6 years.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
You know what I'm curious about on that note is in Age of Ultron, Tony had that vision of the future.
Yep.
And we see everyone laying on the ground and all that. I wonder if that... So it seems to be me that vision was more of not a literal of they're all just going to be physically on the ground, but just prefacing a lot of people's deaths or them being defeated. Unless something happens in the next movie.
It's been something... I haven't seen Ultron in a while.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if what that was the Mind Stone talking with Stark. Of going, hey, Thanos is coming. He's coming to destroy you all. You need to be ready.
Right.
Because the Mind Stone is supposed to have a mind of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Which is apparently also the Soul Stone does. I don't know.
Ooh, that's a whole other topic I want to get into.
So let's go into that. Let's go into the stones a bit.
Okay.
We have the Power Stone, which was from Guardians of the Galaxy. We have the Space Stone, which is the Tesseract. Yep. We have the Reality Stone, which was Thor, not Ragnarok.
Dark World.
Dark World, thank you.
Yeah.
Then we have the Mind Stone, which is Vision, which was Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
We have the Soul Stone, which appeared first time here. And then we have the Time Stone, which was Doctor.
Right.
So, Power Stone, obvious, gives you strength.
Right.
Like, it's just absurd strength. Space Stone transports you wherever.
Right. And also allows you to contort space in the sense of, I noticed he used it the second time I watched it on War Machine, and that's what crushed him. He used the Space Stone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the second time around, I just want to say a quick note. The second time I watched the movie, one of the things I paid more attention to is which stone lit up as he was using it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
And so the Time Stone obviously controls time. Mind Stone. What does the Mind Stone do? It is a separate mind that gives people like the ability to have like more throughput to think things, I guess.
I suppose, yeah. That's more ambiguous.
Which kind of makes sense for Vision, because Vision is otherwise just a normal AI.
Right.
And then we have, the mental capacity of Stark, Banner, Ultron, and the Mind Stone all working together.
Oh my gosh, I just realized something. Wait, no, never mind.
Okay.
I was going to say something because there's the scene where Thanos says Stark, and Tony goes like, "You know me?" He says, like you, I have the curse of knowledge.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, oh, maybe it was the Mind Stone that told that. But he didn't have the Mind Stone yet.
Right. That it's just Thanos knowing who his enemies are. I mean, he should have known all his enemies as soon as right after Avengers, first Avengers.
That's
because
when it made it apparent.
When it became very clear that the Earthlings were not pushovers.
Mm-hmm.
Any good warmonger would be able to know who he should be fighting against.
Study his enemies.
Yeah.
Spying on them.
So anyway, with that. Okay, so then that's the Mind Stone. How about the Soul Stone?
So I have a theory that, well, it doesn't originate from me. I read it and I was like, oh, that resonates with me.
Okay.
So we'll get into talking now about the whole ending where...
Yeah, we'll get into the very end in just a second, but keep going, keep going.
But on the note of half of the people dying...
Okay.
There's a theory I read that they didn't actually die, they're just trapped in the Soul Stone. Because you'll notice at the end of the movie, when he snaps his finger, he sees Child Gamora again and talks to her.
Okay.
The theory is that was him being transported into the Soul Stone where she was kept, and presumably where the others are now, who got snapped away.
Well, that's an interesting theory, but as soon as that scene ends, he's back on Earth. Thanos is still there.
Right.
So, and then he transports away.
Right, but like temporarily it was like a mental...
That would be an interesting thought, because that would make sense considering Gamora was the sacrifice to the Soul Stone.
Right.
In order for him to get the Soul Stone.
So it's like almost as if she's now the voice of the Soul Stone.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting thought. Yeah. However, I would argue that... Yeah, no, right here. Sorry. Directions. I would argue that that's not the case because I think I need to watch it again, but I think when he snaps the fingers, all the stones light up, and you notice that once it goes back to Earth, the gauntlet is destroyed.
Got roasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I that'd be an interesting theory, but I don't think that's true.
Wait, why don't you think that's true then?
I
get that.
I feel like, I mean, I have no actual evidence to back it up. I can only base it off of what I feel.
Right.
But I feel like the thing with the destruction, with the ultimate ending, was that, with everybody being disintegrated, essentially, it was actual physical disintegration. And I guess you can kind of make the claim that, the souls were captured into the Soul Stone.
Mm.
But I also kind of feel that the stones did what Thanos wanted them to do, in that they just killed off everybody. Mm-hmm. So, because remember, if it didn't do that, then you have the universe's souls in the Soul Stone.
In the stone.
That, I mean, the stones that were made at the beginning of the universe, but it's still pretty ridiculous.
I mean, you did in that sense, right?
Yeah.
The stones made at the beginning of the universe.
So
entirely possible.
Okay, so then let's go into the last little bit here that I want to talk about. The people dying.
Yeah.
So obviously the biggest thing about this whole movie is they killed off half of everybody.
Yep.
A lot of the main Marvel superheroes are still alive. The Guardians are destroyed, except for Rocket. You lost Winter Soldier, Bucky. You lost... the big one, I think, was... big two, I think, were Black Panther.
Yeah.
And Strange. Those were the big ones.
Really?
Spider-Man is important, but that's more for the development for...
Emotional.
Yeah. That was in a big emotional point.
Yeah, so I will say that the first time I saw it was opening weekend, and it was a very interactive audience.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of oohs and ahs and oh no's, as you could hear people in the theater, and you could tell everyone was just wrecked by Spider-Man's death.
Yeah.
People were like, oh no. And then people were like, when they saw Groot die, they were like, no, Groot, because it's Groot. Yeah. But also Black Panther, you heard a lot of people go no to, because there were no, I was sitting next to a couple of people, and as soon as he he went to pick up his guard, it's this is not where you need to die, and then it goes to pick it up, and his hand disintegrates away. Yeah.
The person next to me is like, what the
oh really?
Very audibly.
Yeah.
But and then of course as soon as the credits happen, everybody's like, what? But the important things with Strange and Black Panther I think was important because Black Panther was a very successful movie.
Right.
Killing him off kind of limits your capabilities of what you can do in the future with him.
Right.
But more importantly, with Strange, there is going to be more Strange stuff.
Right.
The way that Doctor Strange, the movie, ended, they are planning for more Strange. Mm-hmm. Which goes into, you can't have more Strange if he's dead.
Right. That's just, never mind.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't think here's my thought, is any of the heroes who were snapped away, they're going to come back. Mm-hmm. I think they may permanently have killed off the ones who got killed otherwise. Mm-hmm. Maybe Gamora or Loki. Heimdall.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But to have all the ones who were snapped away dead, that's a lot of destruction that could ruin the franchise. People want another Black Panther movie. That would absolutely destroy it.
Exactly.
Plus, it's the next Avengers was originally going to be Infinity War Part 2. Yes, they took away that title, but they're going to bring them back.
So here's my ultimate theory on it, is that you notice that when he gives Thanos the Time Stone, and Thanos teleports away, and Stark is like, why did you do that? And Strange's response is, now we're in the end game. it was all planned. Like because remember right before that, Strange was looking through countless universes to figure out how they could possibly win.
Right.
And there was only one. And so Strange picked the one, and he knew the only way that this was possible to defeat Thanos, I assume with everybody remaining alive in the end, is to give him the stone now, let him accomplish his goal, which will lower his guard, and they can somehow reverse it. Probably through the time stone. Maybe Strange cast a spell that allows it all to reverse first for him, and then he can help or something like that. I don't know. But
well, also Tony's survival was probably significant.
Yes.
So Stark plays a huge role in this next movie, most likely. And right before Strange vanished away, you saw him say it was the only way.
It was the only way. Exactly.
Yep.
Because the thought on that would be, like, even if you did keep the time stone away from Thanos, it was very clear nobody was going to defeat him.
Right.
And, which, I mean, I guess could be argued with Thor. Like, as soon as Thor got his weapon, he could have killed him. But,
right. He almost did.
But,
except he didn't go for the head.
But it's still, like, it could be argued that even if he didn't get all of the stones, he would still be able to accomplish his goal. It would have taken a longer time, and it would have been a lot harder to reverse it all. So I think this was all a ploy, quote unquote ploy, to, kill off half the universe, to lower Thanos' guard.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that's a kind of a nod to the comics that I think they're going to end up doing is Nebula in the comics was the one who got a hold of the gauntlet from Thanos.
Ooh.
So she's probably going to play a significant role in the next one.
I believe it.
To reverse everything.
I believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thought I had is, another point I want to make is I'm actually a fan of having bad endings every once in a while in movies. Yes, it makes me feel terrible. It makes me feel like I just want to go to sleep after watching it. But I don't know. There's just something about me that enjoys having a bad ending every once in a while that when the first time I saw it, I didn't know if that's really just how they were going to end it. I thought it was actually going to end potentially with half the universe dead.
I think the thing that got the most people upset about this ending was because, it's not the first time that Marvel had killed off popular characters.
Right.
Like, they clearly do it somewhat often.
Right.
I think the thing that got most people was they killed off so many people, and that was it.
Right.
It wasn't like they killed off so many people and then Stark goes, all right, we got work to do. Or it's like, we're going to avenge them. Or something like this kind of like last glimmer of hope kind of thing. Right. It was, they lost.
Yeah, they outright lost.
It was like this feeling of there was no coming back from this.
Yeah, you could see the defeat in Captain America's face and all their faces, and then the way it ends with Thanos walking out and looking at the sunset like he foretold.
He succeeded.
And he's had that smirk. Boom. End.
Credits. That's it.
Yep.
So
left you with a sense of no hope.
So yeah, that was. I think that's what got everybody. It was like, there was no feeling of, don't worry, just stick with it, guys. You'll get, and it's like, nope.
We lost.
It's done.
Yep. Oh, man, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Any last thoughts?
No, that was really just it. The only thing I was going to say is one of our friends we went with is not a fan of bad endings, and he was dead on the inside at the end of
it. There are apparently a lot of kids that went to see this just bawling afterwards.
Oh, my God.
Which I can't blame, especially after Spider-Man dies. Spider-Man's like a really popular kids game. Or, excuse me, kids character.
Series, yeah.
So, watching him die, I think, affects a lot of kids too.
And his death was like one of the worst ones.
Yeah. It was purposed to be emotional.
Right.
So,
especially for Tony's sake.
Yeah. So, yep.
Yep.
So one last thought for me is I am curious what they're going to do for music or movie series up until the next Avengers. because we have Ant-Man next.
Right, which apparently that's going to take place just after Civil War.
Okay.
So it's showing what happened to Ant-Man while he's under house arrest.
Okay, good.
Before
that's cool. I can deal with that.
And then apparently,
and we have
Captain Marvel is going to take place in the night.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all going to be.
It's all prequel.
War.
Yeah. So I guess the next Avengers will be like, okay,
directly after
everybody died. Let's go.
let's roll right back into it.
Yeah. So which will be fine, but it's one of those like. Hey, you remember everybody dying? Let's take you a few years back. You know, it's like,
right. Oh, come on.
I was almost thinking it was like the Ant-Man would be a couple of like a week before Infinity War, and like it goes right up until everybody dies, and just like, hey, what's with it? Why is everybody dissipating?
And maybe it will. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
I don't know how far along, what the distance between Civil War and Avengers is. So I think it's supposed to be like 6 months or something like that.
No, it's real time. So that's one of the things I love about the Marvel movies is over the time span of all the movies, they kept it real time.
Okay,
so when Civil War happened, you know how Vision said 8 years ago, or whatever the time was between the first Iron Man in real life and Civil War, he actually referenced that time span.
Gotcha.
So it was 2 years since Civil War.
Okay, so it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Okay, that'll do it for us. I hope we didn't spoil anything, but we put so many warnings on this video that it's your own fault at this point.
Yeah, you have only yourself to blame. So great job.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.